Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Be a Boss Coaching Podcast. My name is Beatriz. I am the host, and thank you for being here. Lately, I've been doing these episodes Thursday nights. Like I said, they've been catching up to me, but today, what I really want to talk to you about is something that I think even you don't experience it just in the beginning of your entrepreneur journey, but I think also at any stage of your journey, I think you could experience this. But it's most prevalent in the beginning when you're just starting out. And that is bartering agreements or beta clients, beta services. And I want to talk about this because I think that is one of the best, most accessible ways to get experience with clients or new customers, or to get feedback. And there seems to be a sense of gratitude from anybody that's willing to work with us, right? Even if it is for free, that we forget to set agreements in place in paper and be on the same page, literally. So I want to talk about what to think about when you're doing bartering agreements, or when you're doing beta clients or even a beta service, what you should try to have in place, and what to think about to make your bartering agreement or experience a little bit easier. Because I've just noticed a lot of things, especially with clients who are not paying for services. I've experienced different ways that people show up, right? I think when there's money on the table, there's a lot more at stake. So let's get started. All right. So one of the things that to think about if you are just starting out and you're thinking about getting a beta client, and you're thinking about, or maybe not even a beta client, like I said, this could be even if you're thinking about a new service or a new product and you're thinking about testing it out first and sort of trying it out with people first, is come to an agreement about timeline. So if you are a coach, for example, you're a brand new coach, you just started a coaching business, and you are thinking about new clients, getting that experience so that you could perhaps get a testimonial. Even if you don't have a full coaching package in place and you don't know exactly what your program looks like, but you are looking for clients so that you can begin to at least start practicing that muscle, is have a timeline in mind. Give your client a timeline or a number of sessions that you are going to do with them. Think about that. It could be 3. It could be up to you, right? It could be 3, it could be 5, it could be 5 months, 6 months. But come to an agreement as to the number of sessions and the timeline for that. And I would say don't do it more than like 5 sessions, I would say, or even 4, because this is my experience. You want to get as much experience and as much feedback with different people. And yes, of course, you can definitely come to an agreement or get a lot of experience with one client for 4 or 5 sessions. But if it's any more than that, make sure that you have a timeline for when your agreement is set to end. Because I have been there where I have done free coaching for months on end, sometimes for like 7-8 months, and I'm just not even sure when to stop. Like, okay, wait. So am I supposed, like, when does this end? Right? And then you feel bad, and you're like, you don't want to spring it on them when you're ready to move on, or when you're ready to begin taking on new clients. So have a timeline in place, have a number of sessions in place that you want to have, that you are willing to give to that person. If it's coaching, or maybe if it's consulting, again, depending on how your services are structured and what you provide, what kind of business you run, you could both come to an agreement about when to end. Okay, that's number one. Number two is come to an agreement about what you are looking for, right? Like, you have an idea about what you want to provide with your services, but you also want to look at it from both the perspective of your client and your perspective. You want to get feedback, and you want to not just get feedback, but receive a testimonial, I would say, especially because you're providing your services for free, is to give you a testimonial about your services and to give you feedback, whether that is a pricing suggestion, whether that's my new tablet, whether that is pricing suggestions, or perhaps feedback on your actual level of services. You want to lay out exactly the type of feedback that you want after you're done providing the service. Okay, yeah. So be clear about what you want in return for your free services. A testimonial at minimum. Feedback, of course, you want them to share with you what you could do better, what is working, what they would like to see, all of that. And any other things that you think could improve your services or could help you stand out or be different or help you get the experience that you're looking for. If you're a product, obviously, like, it's a product, you want the people to try it out. You want to ask the same questions. What did you like about this product? What would you change? What would you improve? All of those things. But make sure, again, to be clear about what it is that you want in return, and then what you're going to provide, what you're committed to. So make sure you have that in place. Number 3 is, if you're a service, like a coaching service or a consulting service, or maybe so it requires your client to show up, think about what accountability looks like for your agreement. How do you measure accountability? What are the consequences if they were to not show up for your session, or even for you, like if you mess up or forget or whatever? And these are important to think about before and put in place, because one of the things that I have noticed when working with beta clients versus paying clients is that level of accountability is vague and sometimes even missing if there's no money at stake, right? There's no risk for them, for your client or your customer. But maybe you could set up a small policy, like if you miss a session or you reschedule a session less than 24 hours before our session is set to begin or is set to take place, that they pay you $5, or something along those lines. There has to be a consequence, because that creates a level of accountability for you, both you and your client. And it just makes the process feel more genuine. It actually is not just this person trying to help you out. Like, they're actually accountable to being present and showing up for you the same way that you are showing up for them. So create a process of accountability. And think about it as, what does it look like? What is the consequence if accountability doesn't happen, if it's not there? And it could be something like I just mentioned with that $5 agreement, right? So set that up. Number 3, I think I'm at number 3. No, number 4. To the extent that you can, put this in writing. And maybe even if it's just an email, like, you want to have a trail or something that you can refer back to and say, look, this is what we came to an agreement. I'd like to remind you of this. If you need to pull it up, if you need to remind somebody of their commitment to you. So put this all in writing, have like a contract. It doesn't have to be anything formal, like it could be in an email. But if you can't do it, in a Word doc, and then have both of you sign it, that's perfect. That's enough. And I just discovered this on Google Business. I have a Google Business suite, and they actually have an e-signature feature. So if you have Google Business, you can do this with Google Docs or a PDF. You can create an agreement and you can send a request for an e-signature. So have it in writing, everything that we just talked about, what accountability looks like, how you're going to measure accountability, how you're going to measure things like cancellations or less than 24-hour rescheduling, the timeline, the number of sessions, all of that. And then what you would like in return, right? If it's a testimonial, if it's feedback, if it's pricing suggestions, if it's like referrals, things like that. That'd be great. Or maybe even something I'm just thinking about right now is going back to point number 1 is, are they willing to share your stuff? Are they willing to share your posts, your things on social media, your newsletters, and talk to everybody and let people know, and then have them be an ambassador for your brand so that it's faster for you to get actual paid clients or customers. And last tip, or it may not be a last tip, I don't know. I might think of something else, but the last tip for now is to make sure, if you're doing a bartering agreement, so maybe it's not a beta client or a beta service that you're testing out with somebody, but maybe you're bartering services with someone, have all of those things in place that I talked about before, but also make sure that if you're bartering services, that your services are an equal value to their services and what they're providing to you. I think it's always tough when one of the parties doesn't feel like they're receiving the same value that they're giving. And so make sure that if you are bartering services, that both of you come to an agreement about the value of each other's services and that it's equal in monetary value. Like if someone's service program is $500, that you give that same value back in your services. And so, like I said, I think it's always tough when one of the parties feels like they're getting the short end of the stick. So just have that conversation, come to an agreement, and don't be afraid to voice how you feel and voice yourself and what you feel the value of your services are, and have that conversation. So make sure you do that before you start any agreements or any exchange of services. All right, y'all. I wanted to bring this to you because this is something that I definitely experienced in the beginning of my journey. Like I said, I don't know if I said it in the beginning, but I, had a client for 6 months and I was like, wait, when am I supposed to stop? And then I felt really bad to just say, hey, by the way, would like to, and even just as recently as this last beta client that I had, I did not set a timeline either. And I'm like, why didn't I do that? Like, I had already thought about this, but I think it had been such a long time since I had any clients, like a client like that, where, I mean, they weren't exactly a beta client. We were exchanging services. And so I think that sort of, it made me forget to still come up with an agreement, because I was like, oh, well, if we're going to exchange services, like, she's going to give me her coaching sessions and I'm going to provide her my coaching sessions. And so I completely just didn't think about all of this. And I wish I would have done that in the beginning, because now I had to sort of come back and be like, hey, so by the way, I'd like to do X more sessions and close out our agreement. And I kind of had to do that like in the middle. And I'm like, okay, I have to bring this up at some point. So just some things to think about if you are working with beta clients or are just starting out and are thinking of asking people to be your clients, or putting a call out there for clients or customers, or for people to try out your product or service. Just things to think about and have in place so that you can be prepared and that you can cover yourself, and then bring the same level of commitment as if someone was actually paying you. And that person brings the same level of commitment to you and your services and your expertise as well. All right. So I hope you get so many clients, and I hope that you begin to, from any beta services or clients that you have, that you get everything that you need, that you get the testimonials. And, once you get those testimonials, put them up on your website. It took me such a long time to put up some of my testimonials that I got from clients that I did this with for free. And I think, I don't know what it was. I think there was something in my head about, oh, these are beta clients. I don't know. Like, there was just what I provided to them, even if it was like maybe 1 call or 3 calls or 6 calls, like, it wasn't my full program. And I think because it wasn't my full program, I was like, should I put these testimonials up? They didn't actually go through an entire program or process with me. But then I realized, but no, it's okay. The approach and my coaching approach and like the experience and their experience with me as their coach, and it was still there. It's still valuable. So don't be afraid to put those testimonials up and put them on social media, put them on your website. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. These Friday episodes have been pretty fun to record, but I do have something in the works coming up, a series that I thought about and that I have started reaching out to people about, and I'm excited to put that out into the world. So you are the first to hear about this, or actually second, because I have already reached out to some folks about it. And yeah, I'm excited to have this series come to life. Be on the lookout for a new series that's coming out probably in the next 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks, I want to say. And yeah, that's coming out. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful weekend or week, whenever you're listening to this. If you are interested in working with me, please come on over to beabosscoaching.com, book a call with me. You can follow me on Instagram at beabosscoaching. Send me a DM if you'd like to figure out your journey, get clear, understand the tenets of strategy, and come on over. Reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you about your journey, what you're building, what you're creating, what kind of work that you want to put out there, and how you want to help your community. So I'd love to help you out. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.